Good morning, good evening, good night. Welcome back to NFT Live on the Web3 Network. It's been a calendar week since our last show, and it truly, and I know people say this all the time, but it truly feels like it's been a month since we've seen y'all. So
Fuck yeah.
glad to be back on the saddle. Apparently, there's been some degenning going on here on stage. Hopefully, you guys had a wonderful Christmas. I'm going to talk to my co-host here. I'm going to get to the chat here in just a moment. But again, good to see everybody here. Hudah, I'm going to start with you, man. Nice hair. You grew it out in 7 days, a monumental feat.
Yeah, you said it. It's only been a few days, but it's like a month has gone by, and it's been more than that, really. But I was telling you guys right before, I didn't know we weren't live, but like I apologize to everybody who's listening and watching, and that I approach this so unprofessional normally with a hat on. It's bullshit. It's disrespectful. It's gone. Those days are over. All in now.
All in, man. Excited to be hearing from what you've been doing here over the last 7 days, other than growing your hair out at a rapid pace. Biggie Poppins, I know, has been degenning. We just talked about it prior to pressing live. Biggie's going to be leading the chat today because I've been taking a little bit of a break. But Biggie, how are you doing, bro?
Dude, it's been nuts, man. I can't believe it's just been a week and the amount of stuff that's been happening has been crazy. And I guess that's kind of like, I don't know. I was unable to unplug, fam. First of all, OVOT, I hope you all had a wonderful Christmas. I enjoyed time with the family too. I'm still with the family down here, down south in Mexico. But yeah, man, like I just I couldn't help myself, man. I kept checking in just to see if there were any weird things going on. Obviously, I'm sure many of you guys got to see the tremendous amount of FUD that my beloved Moonbird community has been going through. And so obviously I've been, standing there valiantly, taking the shots and handing some too, right? But in amongst all that stuff, yeah, I ended up degenning into this fucking Solana coin last night. I was telling Q. I was just catching up with my discords, and I needed, sometimes you need a little bit of background music. You don't want like total silence. The room was dark. My kid and my wife were sleeping next to me, and I'm just clearing all my email and my Discord channels, and I'm listening into this Solana chat, and all of a sudden this weird ass dev gets in there and is like, I'm launching something right now, this instant. And lo and behold, I was like, let's see what the hell happens. Let's have some fun, right? And I just made a little punt. And holy shit, like within the hour that I was there in that channel, this thing went from like a 10K market cap to almost $1 million. And I was like, do you cash out now or do you let it ride? And like a good DJ, and I was like, let's see what Christmas has in store for me. I'm going to go to bed. Woke up the next day. Apparently it hit 3 mil.
Wow.
I ended up withdrawing somewhere around 1.5, which was still a good win, but it was fun, man. It was really, really, I don't know. I just, it was so surreal to be there in that chat room and at the same time in that dark room, degenning and just seeing all these people in there having a blast, dude. It's like, this space is unlike any other in the world, and that's why I love it. So it's really good to be back.
The origin to that play as well, you said you randomly hopped into a space and made that call. Like that is, I guess, the randomness that keeps everybody up at night, right? That they're trying to find a random tweet, a random space. If I just listen a little bit more, if I just stay up a little bit later, I'm going to make this call.
Exactly, man. It was so bizarre because it was first like another channel that I was like I even forget who it was, but it was like one of these known Solana influencers, and I caught the tail end of that, and I still needed some more audio. So immediately I just watched the side panel, and there was this other one talking about Solana, and like everybody almost like hopped into there, like, 'cause being the 25th at night, I imagine there's not a lot of things running. So all of a sudden there were like 1,000 people there. And I literally was right there when the dev, this guy, foreign guy with a terrible accent, like was like, dude, I'm launching this now. Everybody bullied him to lock up liquidity, and then just proceeded to DJ and then pump the living shit out of this coin for the next hour. And it was fun, man. It was hilarious. I was like, I cannot believe I'm going through this, dude. I kept looking over at my sleeping kid and wife, and I'm like, I want to wake them up and tell them what's going on, but I guess I'm on my own now.
So much trouble sleeping, right? Like the degen shit is popping off on Solana like that. It's popping off over on Bitcoin. It's wild. I haven't felt this in like at least a year. But man, I rode a different coin the opposite direction last week. I rode the boner. I don't know if you guys played that one at all. Yeah.
No way.
Come on,
man.
Hudah.
Yeah,
Come on, Hudah.
I
Can't
bought
say that
one.
on stream.
Can you not? Okay, my bad. I rode a shit coin. You can say that, right? So yeah, I bought into that right after Beeple tweeted it, thinking that was smart. And yeah, I lost like 10 soul on that, which was ridiculous, guys. Good Lord.
All right. Well, look, we're going to get into all of these stories. Again, it does feel like more than a week, so I want to break down some of it. But personally, I took the week almost completely off. Like, I don't even think I tweeted one time. It was a very weird feeling because every other day I was like, well, today I'll hop back in. And then you almost feel like the ship is moving at 1,000 miles an hour. And if you step off, it's like so far down the road, you're just like, how am I going to freaking catch up to this behemoth that's moving at 1,000 miles an hour? So I took a clean break. I kept up with some of the market plays. I kept up with some of my positions. I've been experimenting more with the base ecosystem that we can jump into, but yeah, no degen stories for me, folks. So, but in the meantime, everybody is making money on Solana apparently, including Biggie Poppins himself. This is the link here today. So I'm going to drop that in chat for y'all and get to it in just a moment. Froganas, we have to talk about the frogs. Top performing altcoins in Q4. New upcoming airdrops that you need to be taking advantage of here as we move into Q1 of 2024 here. So excited to be sitting with you. We'll take a look at the broad market as well. All right, I'm going to hop into it. XNFT, it was fast. I don't know who you're talking about there.
All of it.
I think or maybe he was in the same channel as I was. It was fast, bro.
All right, NFT Cutie saying meme coins were on fire last week and still are. DP saying, what's good, fam? Happy holidays. Good to see you again, DP. Hopefully your holidays went well. Inside NFTs, Cat's Fanatic with the OVOT, feels like forever, fam. And then I'll end here with Easy and Crypto, hoping everyone had a great Christmas. Guys, did you get any, before we get into anything serious, like talking about PFPs and frogs, did you get anything for Christmas that you really like that you want to talk about right now?
Biggie, go first if you got something.
No, honestly, no presents that I can really brag about. Yeah, the rest of it, I mean, I don't know, like just traveling is, I think, my greatest thing, my greatest pleasure. And to be able to do it is already like a blessing. So I'm really looking forward to Mexico City, where we're going after the show next. So if you've ever been, if you haven't, you should go. Amazing food, probably going to gain like another 15, 20 pounds, but it'll be worth it.
Yeah, dude, definitely worth it. Hell yeah.
You get anything, Hudah? I'm putting you on the spot, I know.
No, like a boomer type gift, which I love. My wife got us a like a soda machine, like one of those I can't remember the name of it. But anyway, yeah, it's got all these different flavors and you can carbonate it, and the thing's awesome. I'm using it like around the clock right now. So yeah, cool stuff.
Are you talking about like a carbonator?
Yeah. This one's like a Ninja something. And it's cool. It's like a nice high-techy version of that. They're cool.
All right, cool. All right, so we're sharing out the episode early. Guys, we're probably only going to be here for another 30 minutes. I think I'm going to ease myself in, man. And this is just basically maybe my personal preference. Again, like it just feels a little bit right now that I just need to get my bearing on the industry. Plus, we've got a lot of things going on. It's still around the holidays. Hudah, I'm going to start with you, man. You did your update here on Crypto Slam. You can see here the 5-minute update that you do every single morning. What stood out to you over the last 24 hours? Because I know you do these daily and you kind of have all the top 5 stories here. So what stood out to you this morning as you got it done? Nice sweater, by the way. Yeah,
thank you. Love that thing, by the way. Yeah, what stood out to me over the last couple days was really the low volume. And it's not unexpected. It's what we do see when, after holidays and after events. And really, we've seen that pullback ever since Art Basel. But man, like when I'm looking at the weekly numbers, so this past week, we just hit our second highest mark in the past, not just year, but in the past like 84 weeks. And then you look historically at where that usually leads to, like the December highs and where that leads to in January, February, March. That's what stood out to me. It's not any one collection or any one trend. It's that we're trending like we have been the past couple of years and really setting up nicely for a really, really potentially massive beginning of next year. So that was the standouts. And then, of course, yesterday and this morning, those Froganas, and just going ballistic. I can't wait to talk about those.
I almost don't even want to pull up Blur or OpenSea these days. It's all happening on Magic Eden. It's crazy how quickly this Solana craze has happened. But I guess, if we've been in the industry long enough, we know how quickly these things move. So I could bring up Froganas real quick and see if we can't jump into that. You can see this collection has moved extremely fast over the course of the last 4 days. You can see here on December 24th, even just a 2-day period, we go from one soul, folks, one single Solana token to topping out at 24.5 Solana. There's an interesting story behind this as well. You did have a rug happen with the original founder of the project. The artist, I guess, decided, hey, I'm going to take this project over, and that's kind of the narrative they've been running on. All right, guys, any takes here on Froganas with this pump of just a literal 25x here in the span of 2 days?
It's just wild to see what happens when ETH guys get into the ecosystem, and that's what's happening here. I'm in a few really, I think, solid little alpha groups, and they were talking about this at 0.5 Sol. And you know that these guys have the bags and the liquidity to be able to move something to this degree. And I don't think they're done yet. So it's one of those things. I say this a lot. I'm shocked and I'm not shocked. Both of those apply here. I think we're going to see a lot of this kind of action over there in like various Solana projects. But again, I wasn't expecting this one. Also, people keep commenting about the art and calling it lame and just saying it's awful. I think the art's cool as fuck. God. I love the art on these. Man, I like just this is one that makes me feel bad for not having it. Like I really wish I had one of these.
Yeah, I concur with you, Hudah. Like people poo-pooing the art are stupid. There's amazing art out there, and if you want to check some out, I know our friend from Collective Corner, Ask Them, did a phenomenal thread. So did the artist Derek. Really great threads to maybe introduce you to some of these really amazing artists that have been, minting over in Solana. And it's been really cool to see the ETH community, at least the majority of the projects and communities that I'm part of, embrace it and start bridging over and start collecting, even improve community. Like we're all discussing it. It's really cool. Like if this is a preamble to what the bull market's going to look like, hold on to your seats, folks. I think whatever expectations you might have, good or bad, because there's going to be a combination of both, but it's going to be awesome. I'm so stoked to be here for it.
All right, so real quickly, I want to get the disclaimer in. We're not financial advisors. Even though we look like it up here, we do not give out free financial advice or paid for that matter. So not yet though, Hudah. We'll set that up here on the side. Anyways, do not take anything that what we say here and use it as such. No investment advice there. Other than that, appreciate you guys watching both on X and YouTube. I know you guys are watching over on Twitch potentially as well, but we're getting a ton of people here on X and YouTube at this time. So definitely a big shout out there. Good to see Marty McFly, Cryptophasia, Nick Swervis here in the house. Some OGs that are coming back after a holiday break. Solana is like the penny slots, always getting hammered by the biggest degens. And Sarah Script, nice to see you here in after the holidays as well. Hey, jumping back into this story, you can see here Crypto Leon put together a pretty good summary. You can see Thin Tall Tree was the original artist, I believe, and you saw the founder deleted the Discord, rugged the project, and then Thin Tall Tree actually brought the project back, seemingly from extinction here. For a long time, they were trading between 0.05 and 0.2 Sol.
Love it.
Quite interesting was also to see many Bored Ape Yacht Club members buying the collection as their first Sol NFT. So there is definitely a BYC tie-in here. So this was a big moment here for this collection, obviously. But I guess the real question is right now, if you're sitting there and you haven't even bought a Solana NFT or you've only really dipped your hand in the ecosystem, is now the time to really pull the trigger and be like, hey, I'm jumping in full board. I'm spending my hard-earned cash.
It has to be. It has to be. I
There
mean,
could
I
be a
think
pullback though, right?
there could be. I don't think you buy something like that. Now, maybe you do, again, just because the things that, kind of we're hearing about that collection in particular, the kind of support it's going to get. But no, you play the game that we all love to play. You play new mints. You do the cheap stuff, and you hope some of those go parabolic like this one just did. That's what you play, and I think now is the time to get into there. ETH guys are just getting more and more curious about it.
Yeah, I'm a little bit split on that, Huda. Like I agree. Like I mean, honestly, if you wanna make some money, you gotta have some skin in the game, right? So you gotta play. Having said that, like for example, when it comes to collecting the art or getting into like the PFPs right now, the Mad Lads and the Claynosaurus and all that. I don't want to say obviously it was better back in the day, but I am a little bit more cautious about maybe just aping in at this moment in time. I do think there's a lot of euphoria in the air, especially in the Solana ecosystem. And like you said, with this end of year coming, we still have a couple of days. I do think we're going to see some sell-offs just for tax harvesting. And then let's see what, like the beginning of the year, sometimes I think it's like hit or miss. There's a lot of euphoria, but we also have some stuff in the horizon that might cause some turbulence, right? And so for me right now, barring this little degen move I did last night, I'm trying to just sit on my hands and study the market a little bit better. I've been really getting into the domains, right? Like I love investing in domains, .eth, .sol, and Handshake domains. And I would recommend everybody. Just recently, Tim Ferriss launched a podcast. It's his latest podcast, and it's an interview with like the highest premium domain seller for the past decade. Phenomenal. One of my top Tim Ferriss podcasts for this whole year. Obviously, if you're interested in investing and appraising domain names, it's a very interesting read. Listen, and he talks about like investing in .eth domains, unstoppable domains, and Handshake domains, which are the ones I'm most bullish on. Really fascinating read. I highly suggest. That is a must if you've ever been interested in understanding even just how to value domain names. It was super enlightening. Like even for me that I've been in the game for some time now, just like the way this guy prices these things and the business models that he's built around them, it was really good. I think that's one sector I'm keeping a very, very close eye on because I think it's going to do very well. And it is an NFT, but it's not. It's your wallet, it's your dress, it's your brand. I think it can do very well.
The path from Scallop King to 8-figure domain sales. That guy
So good.
Sounds like an interesting character. Also, what happened to Cock Punch Tim Ferriss? We're getting a Marty McFly comment. Tim Rugg Ferriss. So we're still waiting
Marty,
on that.
I got some alpha for you, Marty, from Cairo. Because we're
God.
friends. But anyways, we were in a talk, and apparently they did one of their random shows recently, and they talk a little bit about the NFT space and what's going on. So stay tuned. You might get a little bit more insight of where their head is at and what they're thinking about for this coming year. I'm very much looking forward to listening to that.
All right, we'll stay within the Solana ecosystem here for just a moment. Again, shout out for those of you that are watching on X and YouTube right now. You guys are awesome. Solana Mobile was probably the only negative, like FUD news that we saw come out of the Solana ecosystem over the last, I don't know, the damn near month. Solana Mobile, I guess, was canceling orders. Hudah, I know you were talking about this a little bit. What is the update there?
I have the same question that I had. Was it this morning or yesterday? Either way, same question I had then. They had an inventory issue, right? So they had that crazy sellout of those phones, I think just a week or two ago. They found out they don't have the inventory to cover all of those orders. So they said they had 20,000 of these units. What I'm wondering is, did they not actually have 20,000, or was the other side of that? Whatever. I don't know what's going on with their inventory over there. So no updates either, man. Some people are really going to lose out and really going to be bummed about this. I'm just hoping they put out another, a fleet of these things. At this point, I would get one.
I heard that the issue was a supply chain distribution issue. Basically, like the U.S. side immediately got, taken taken up. And I did hear that like the people that paid for priority shipping were obviously prioritized. So if you were cheap and you just chose, ground shipping, the free shipping option, well, you probably got that we ran out email. However, I heard that on Europe side, there were still some available and then immediately also got front run. God knows, man. But I've seen the same thing as you, Huda, and some of the channels, right? Some people lamenting and getting all angry. It's like, I placed my order in time and I just got a denial email. I don't know. Let's see where this bonk phone thing goes. I honestly, I love watching it from the sidelines. I do not lament not buying a Saga phone. Honest, I just feel like there's going to be more to the story. I'm not bearish on it. I hope all y'all win, especially if you got one. But yeah, let's see how it plays out. Like until you get your phone and claim. I also saw some people having some issues like claiming some of their tokens or starting out because we've heard the hardware is fantastic on that thing. But let's see. It's been such a cool
sarcasm.
Yeah. It's been so cool to watch, dude. Right?
I'm not going to spend much time on this one, but Sarah's script was asking what happened to Cock Punch. I was interested. I want to see what what's the latest. Went to their profile. The last tweet Biggie's from August. That's a tough one. So hopefully there's like some update here.
I thought I saw a little while back that they were done.
No, I've heard differently. I've heard the last time I've heard Tim Ferriss speak regarding Cock Punch. He went like on this writing retreat with two like expert storytelling people and all this. And he spent like 2 weeks, I don't know, in a cabin, like writing and doing other stuff. So I don't think he's rugged as of yet. I think he is definitely not playing to the Web3 space's expectations. And he deliberately front ran that from the get-go, right? And if you know Tim Ferriss, he's done that even with his books from After 4 Hour Work Week with 4 Hour Body and everything. He always does a lot of psyops and like tries to just block people's expectations or stuff like that. So I'm still holding my cock punches. Yes, I am down really bad and it sucks. But at the same time, I kind of knew this was going to play out this way. And I think we might be surprised. I'm hoping we are. But yeah, I have not heard him throw in the towel, say he's quitting or selling Cock Punch or whatever fucking BS we were probably seeing in the timelines.
All right, so we bring up a lot here at the end of the year, kind of a recap or awards, and you see something like a Parallel winning like a top game of the year. And we talk about who won that year. And honestly, like the more I look at this, I don't know if Magic Eden's going to make it in the 2023 or the 2024, but it does feel like on one of those lists, they should be, if not the top winner, in the top three across the entire industry. The fact that they've been able to go cross-chain and timed it so well in the Bitcoin and then the Solana front was amazing.
Yeah, if they're not there this year, it's got to be next year when they get this, the Bored Ape or Yuga Labs collab marketplace. They've been phenomenal, and it's an arc I just didn't expect at all. I mean, I thought Magic Eden would fade into oblivion, and man, they're the king now.
All right, Nick Swerve is saying when a grown man has to publicly confess to holding his cock.
Yes, sir.
Yes, that's part of being in this space here.
Yes, sir.
All right, guys. Again, let me know if you have some other pieces to bring up. I've got a litany of different things that I want to bring up. But if you guys do, I can definitely pull those up onto the screen. I'll
just mention this.
Yep.
I do. There is a Solana thing I want to touch on. We can get to it later, but there is a kind of an interesting thing going on over there. So you just tell me when you want that.
Okay, let's hit it right after this. I'm going to set you up a little bit, but Solana has been up 420%. First of all, nice in Q4 here, along with Celestia, Injective, AVAX, Near. We've been on this trend, right? We've been on this narrative. It's one of the reasons why we've been getting more involved in projects like Shrapnel being on Avalanche, where we've been talking about Base, but there's a slew of other layer twos and pieces here that we need to be getting involved in and have our eyes on for 2024, because all of those are just plays on essentially the narrative that kicked up last cycle, right? I know NFTs were huge, but we did see this Ethereum competitor prop up into the last cycle, but it feels like now there's a product. right? Like Solana was around last cycle and it pumped to the high heavens. There just wasn't a lot to do there. Now you have a lot of these products and all of these layer twos and other side chains and layer one, what have you, starting to prop up. So Hudah, I don't know if I set you up there. I just wanted to bring this up, that this is the narrative in 2024. Again, AVAX, Near, Injective, Celestia, you can name flows out there, Polygon, all of these others that are gonna do well. But
yep, I mean, man, I'm a big believer in that, like really, really big believer in that from the beginning. From the beginning of my time in NFTs, I never thought Ethereum would be the king and the that one chain that's just head and shoulders above
the end all be all.
As soon as I understood what layer twos were, and I was dealing with gas, and I realized starting out when I had no money, I couldn't afford to trade NFTs. The writing was on the wall. Then it was so obvious there's going to be a million different blockchains, and they'll all have specialties, and they'll all have various degrees of success. Again, that list looks awesome because I see it playing out probably very similar to that.
I see a common thread. I see one thing that really stands out from that list to me, Q, is Near and Celestia, both of which are leaning in very heavily into the data availability modular chain narrative that you really cannot sleep on. I'm telling you, people. Eigenlayer, Aptos, you name it. Near, obviously, it's its own protocol, which is also very interesting in and of itself with an already EVM compatible, option. But it is also leveraging Eigenlayer tremendously for this data availability, and I think you will see it pump as well. So that's just one of those things that I encourage you all to learn a little bit about, because it's going to enable a whole bunch of interactivity and just increase the transaction per second and the speed and just snappiness of a lot of blockchains. It is really, and it's not aimed at one particular protocol, right? It's aimed at all of them. So it's very much chain agnostic. Do not sleep on it.
Okay, so we're going to move back into Solana here real quick with what Hudah's got updated. I will add in one update here. So Blast did pass the $1 billion TVL mark. Wow. That is absolutely amazing for a chain that has nothing. And I'm calling nothing. Like literally they were looking for developers post all of this locking up and staking into the protocol. So they really have and are working from ground zero there. All right, let's go, Hudah. What do we got from these links?
Yeah, so because we were talking about Solana and, if we're going to see a pullback, whatever the narrative over there is, I have to point out that art is coming to Solana. And I'm shocked by this. Again, also not. It's that whole scenario again. Big name artists are about to mint on Solana for the first time ever. Like these are serious guys who see big money, kind of collections, and with serious collectors. Now they start dropping over on Solana and they bring their collectors with them. It's just one of those things, again, legitimizes that blockchain in a different way. And these are the guys that can do that.
Biggie, you're involved heavily in the Ethereum art scene and some others. What are your thoughts on Solana and it being used as an art chain?
I love it. I mean, I'll give you some, so all the collector groups that I am involved with are definitely not fading it. They are appreciating it. They are investigating it. If anything, they might lament a little bit having not gone over there and explored earlier. I'm particularly excited, to think, there's a couple of art collective groups that are already planning to launch, many of their services on Solana, dog tags being one of them. The Alpha Dog group, which is like a collector group, very much like Proof Collective, is launching their collector pass on Solana, and they're going to be, one of those guys that are front running this opportunity, and I think it's something to be appreciated and paid attention to. I'm not, I'm with you, Hudah. I'm 100% chain agnostic when it comes to this. Good art is just good art, and I love seeing Kevin Bosch being one of those people that are immediately embracing this. It'll be really cool to see what he puts out over there.
That was one that really did surprise me. I don't know why, but it did. And seeing him considering minting over there, yeah, that's something I would not want to miss.
All right, folks, we have about 20 minutes left here in the episode. We appreciate you joining us on our return episode here after the holidays. Definitely want to get back in the saddle and make sure we're getting these episodes out for y'all. But hopefully you enjoyed your holidays with family and friends or whatnot, and got some awesome gifts, man, from us to you. All right, I did have one other thing. I mean, at this point, it's even tough to bring up the blur charts, although there are green collections here today. But I've got the blur chart. I've got the CoinGecko chart here. We were just talking about other layer 2s and other scalable solutions to a project like Ethereum. Say has been on an absolute run. They've been definitely more a part of my conversations. I guess I do have to say I got invested in this one via a couple different contacts here, so I guess I do have tokens with Say, trying to be transparent. Sui as well. BNB's getting a bid. That's interesting. Yeah, it's all over the place, right? But you can see the primary projects that are doing extremely well are going to be the ones that are the larger protocols that are getting a bid right now. Any takes here on the token side, fellas?
I love it. I mean, you mentioned that they're not Say, Sui, which is another one of those Facebook coins that split up with Aptos, and another one playing with I forget the programming language. I don't recall the name. It's called Move, which I think it's being very much lauded as like a phenomenal programming language with new things for devs to play around with. And yeah, I think it's Sui, Aptos, and Linea, I think is the other one. Those are the three that broke off of, what was it called, Hudah? The Facebook coin that they were going to call it? It was some other thing. And
I don't even know. Iggy, you always shock me with your knowledge, dude. It's like, you impress me, man.
Is it Libra? Not Libra?
Yeah, Libra, yeah. Yeah, Libra. It was Libra, yeah. But, like, I don't know, like, again, because they came out of that, you can't fade them completely, but you kind of have that. I don't want to necessarily back you, but I have to say I've played around with Aptos. Impressive, very fast. And again, there's some shit coining going on over there too. Not financial advice at all.
All right, I'm going to bring up a couple other chains while we're having this conversation. This one surprised me. We have been talking more about Base. I can get into a little bit of that here for a moment, just to give you guys my experience. But Decrypt coming out and saying they're the 2023 project of the year is Base, the Ethereum Layer 2 network incubated by Coinbase. This surprised me a little bit. I'm not going to pump my own bags, nor do I have much. Like, Base doesn't even have a token here. There's obviously projects that are propping up. Are you surprised by this one, Hudah?
I mean, yes, but I'm also at the same time trying to think of like what other project would I rate ahead of it. And is it more that they have like maybe an understanding of what's being built on Base? I get that's even their slogan, right? I just think it's maybe too early to give them that project of the year. I can see that happening in the future, but something about that doesn't feel right. I got to imagine there's been something bigger, better that's been built this year, that's been used this year. Help me think of that, though. Is there?
I think there's almost, I would almost put a lot of other chains, if not most of them, before I got Base, just because of what's been built on Base up to this point. I know they worked with Parallel. I know they had some other things for on-chain summer. They did the Jack Butcher drop, but it just feels like there's more happening on a project.
An active
like
wallet. Yeah,
so
active wallets, total value locked, all that stuff.
What was that ranking, though? What was the actual thing they were rating?
I think it was just a subjective look at like top projects of 2023. I think it was
why wouldn't it be ordinals?
Why wouldn't it be a lot of things? I think is probably the question. They did briefly mention that I believe Base crossed Solana before this big run up over the past 2 months, that it did cross Solana and TVL. I don't know if that had anything to do with Friendtech. Like Friendtech obviously brought a lot of liquidity to that platform, so we'll see.
I don't know, man.
Speaking of ordinals, Hudah, did you get you a Node Monkey?
I am definitely gonna go for one when they hit secondary. I didn't get one. I need one. I need one. No, I only have Badgers, and I'm really happy with that. And I still will tell anybody that is some of the best alpha you will get across any blockchain, because those degens play on any chain. Those freaking honey badgers, man.
Right on. I've been keeping an eye since you mentioned them too.
All right, I'm going to bring up some comments here, and then I'm going to throw out a couple different protocols here that may potentially have an airdrop in the future. Let's see. Nick Swerver said, "When Solana is the circus of chains." That was a funny one back there, and it might honestly might be true. XNFT bringing up that Beam is up 400 to 500% in Q4. DP saying, "I rode Analos from 8.2 mil up to 200 mil and back down to 68." Yeah, we've all been there. Hey, that's what that's still like a 5x.
Still a win.
still, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. XNFT saying, "Get the fuck out. Friendtech, only thing that happened on base this year." Agreed. Like, again, I think this might be a thing for 2024. Like, maybe that's that. Again, I think that will get potentially pushed by Coinbase more. There's going to be a ton of retail that's on Coinbase. If they can start listing tokens from base chain and things like this, it could pick up. Guys, I don't know much about this, but I saw this on Robert Hugendorn's thread. Robert does a great breakdown, kind of like Mondo Minutes or all these different threads that you see here, but he does it primarily in the gaming space. So you see SAGA is a Web3 scalability protocol for the automated deployment of dedicated blocks. What that means is it's another competitor, right, that is going to have their own chain. But it looks like, according to Spike Reacts here, because I was doing a little bit of deep dives, they're going to launch a play to airdrop. So a lot like what we saw with Nifty Islands. 80% of developers in its innovator program are making games. So you potentially have some applications that could draw people to the chain. So I'll drop that in chat. I haven't jumped in. Again, I saw this on Robert's thread today. And I think there is going to be an upcoming airdrop for that ecosystem. Again, not financial advice or anything like that. So, yeah, Saga XYZ. I need to do some research.
So, okay, is this related to the Solana phone?
I don't think so. This looks like a protocol, unless it's some type of. Oh yeah, there is a little Solana block here. Yeah,
well, yeah. The phone I thought was named Solana Saga or something like
that.
And,
I know the
and
phone
if it's not.
was.
It was okay. Yeah, I think there's. I mean, that can't be just a coincidence. We do some digging.
It feels like another, unless there's a purpose-built blockchain for the Solana phone. I thought it was just building on, like, I thought the tech was just Solana there, that in that stack. This feels like, again, another protocol play. But that's a good call out, honestly, Hudah. So.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to find out.
I'm trying to find out live on stream. I want to see if there's anything.
That's one sector that I have such a hard time keeping up with is the gaming sector, man. There's so much going on there, not just with the games and the PFPs and the assets and the token, but yeah, like with this, the protocols themselves, right? Like chain specific for gaming. I don't know. It's very hard for me to judge them, right? I leave that up to you guys, the professionals.
I loved Kick's take earlier this year. It was probably like a month or two ago, and he was basically like, you could spend all of your time in research there in the gaming space and probably do well this sector, and I think he's right. Yeah, I'm having trouble, Hudah, because I don't know if what you were talking about is actually true. But yeah, you can see coming soon. Community airdrop. So guys, there's probably something here to take a look at.
I'll definitely do some digging. That's just my monkey brain making connections that it ain't there.
Hey, no, I mean, we need that. So I appreciate that call out. All right, let's jump into, I mean, is anybody talking about Ethereum NFTs? I don't know. It seems like not. I feel like an old man. What's that?
Dude, they're not, but it's absolutely crazy that still with nobody talking about it and really nobody I know trading there, like at least actively, they're still doing like 80 mil in volume for the week, which is not nothing, right? They've been leapfrogged by these two other chains, but that's a pretty decent number considering nobody gives a shit about them right now.
Yeah, you can see they're pretty much holding from the start. I mean, a little bit down from the start of December, obviously. But you can see this chart is just NFT volume here over on ETH, and the amount that's made up of it by Blur, obviously still dominant. Let's see, man.
And why would you, right? Like, I think that's been the play arena for the longest of times. You know, anybody that's there already is either holding or staking, earning some kind of yield, or is positioned in NFTs. And at the moment, the action is elsewhere. Like, why would you continue there for the moment, for the time, right? Like, I think I find it kind of logical. Like, I don't know why people are so perplexed by it. It's just, you look at the charts, you see where the action is. And again, the people that have been here for the longest of times, they already have their Ethereum bags. Like, I think it makes sense that they're experimenting elsewhere for the time.
Here's one that came up on my timeline. Actually, no, I think I was in a space. I was in the Crypto Espresso space, and he was mentioning that the Steamboat Willie IP gets to actually go. Huda's excited. Gets to actually. Yes,
what?
Yes, Biggie. This comes. I believe this opens on January 1st. Correct. Huda feels like he wants to take this one. Take it, Huda.
I'm kind of chomping at the bits here. I swear to you, I am trying with a couple people to drop an NFT using this IP, which would be fucking awesome because I think the news would jump all over that, right?
I think there's going to be a ton of folks that are trying to do the same. That was basically the point in the Espresso space, was like, look, there's going to be one. There's going to be one that's super legit. Which one is?
I will. Let's just try to have some predictions. I definitely think it's going to be meme based. It's not going to be serious. Whoever tries to like hijack this and turn it into something
thing,
anybody that tries to do something serious is like, you're going to fail, man. It's got to be a meme.
It's got to be a meme, or it's got to be super R-rated, because the articles I was reading about it are referencing this old version of it that was, again, very R-rated. This guy was sued. He can't even use these, even though they're going to be in public domain. He can't, or he has to pay a fine and go to jail or some shit. So that would catch the news. That's what you got to do. And it's Tigger too, by the way, not just Mickey.
It's what?
It's Tigger as well, not just Mickey. Yeah.
Okay.
Tigger.
So you got to have them doing a little. You know what I mean?
So I want to make a quick point. So again, the IP portion of this that's, I guess, coming into public domain is about the white shorts. There's a black shorts Mickey, but or a red shorts Mickey, something like that on the white and black type of IP. And this specifically, white shorts, is the one that's coming into public domain. So I know that's getting into the weeds a little bit. Where is it going to be? Which chain, or is each chain going to have its own?
That's going to be
Steamboat
crazy.
Willie. I want guesses in chat too, because I know y'all are listening. I want to hear what y'all think about this. Maybe we can hive mind it.
Yeah, give your thoughts of what chain, but actually argue with why it wouldn't be Bitcoin as the one that matters the most.
All right, Huda's casting his vote there already.
Yeah, I think the chain is not going to be as important as like capturing that zeitgeist, right? Like the art has to hit, the narrative, the timing, and the adoption. And whoever's off to the races first is going to be very tough to beat. I don't think the chain is really going to matter as much. And I think
hope it's
because
Ethereum.
Of the friction. Because of the friction on Ethereum and on Bitcoin with gas fees and this and that, I don't know, man. Like, really,
I would hate.
It might be a chance to put that argument up, right? Like, whether it's so valuable to take up like the real estate of something like Bitcoin or something like Ethereum, assuming this is a meme, right? I think it'll make more sense to do it on like an inexpensive chain.
Can you believe we're gonna have a Mickey meta for a bit?
This is what I'm saying, though, guys.
I love it, Sarah.
So Sarah's here. Gift Dead is in the building.
Hell yeah.
What are we buying today, fam? Buying my
Mickey.
tiers. Yeah, we're buying Mickey here in a second, guys. I said a second. It's about you got about 5 days to prep for this, guys. And this goes into maybe the more kind of Ethereum verse, all of these kind of metas that are popping up. The culture is still on Ethereum. The products that are building metaverse plays that allow you to see something like a Nifty Island pop up where you see all of this IP. How dope would it be if the number one Mickey collection was on Ethereum, because they could easily slot that into things like the other side, things like Nifty Island, and then you have Mickey Mouse within at least an ecosystem where it's being shown off. As opposed to if it's on Ordinals, it'd be dope, but it's like kind of sequestered there. There's not a lot going on.
Here's the thing I have against that, Q, is that now you're making this into a little bit more of a serious project. And if you do make it more into a more serious project, in spite of the fact that this IP is going to be available to everybody, if you misrepresent, like you said, if you do something too edgy with Mickey, if you can definitely, I think, cross that line and end up stepping on some toes and giving recourse to Disney to come in after your ass. Whereas if you just keep it meme based, they can't do shit.
Well, I don't
Like
know.
I
I don't know
I
though.
would do like a roadmap, you know, like.
But
You
remember,
don't think so?
Biggie. Well, we had the Winnie the Pooh horror movie this fall, right? Like
That was
you
bizarre.
you can do whatever you want. It doesn't matter what they say or think about it. If you use the correct version of it, it's free to do whatever you'd like with it.
This is going to be a
Man,
wild
I hope
January
so.
1st.
It's gonna be fun for sure.
It's gonna be, yeah, it's gonna be very fun.
All right, I don't know where we go to transition there. I was looking at the NFT price floors up on the big board here. I did have an artifact update as well. That looks like it moved, although negatively, the Murakami flowers. Let's see. I did have that. Yeah, Murakami. Oh, well, I guess Murakami flowers aren't associated. It's the Murakami collection, correct? Am I lost? Am I lost here? Artifact confuses me, folks.
Yeah, I'm with you. They've got something coming up with their pills, the Murakami.
Okay, yeah,
pills,
yes.
but that's all I know.
All right, so this artifact update, I guess, is saying Project Animus is going to launch here in Q1 2024. You see the different art pieces of this collection. You got 3D models. You got the kind of traditional left to right facing PFP. And then to Hudah's point, this was the update here on the Murakami pills. So I guess the flowers have nothing to do with this. It's just both are Takashi related. But yeah, you can see these are getting some type of 3D modeling update here. So
right on, man. I love Takashi, as an artist. I don't know. I don't own any of his pieces in the NFT space at all. I own a couple of like plushies and toys and stuff like that. How do you feel about that? Like, do you think he's done a great job at engaging the NFT community, or has it? I don't know. To me, it's been a little bit more of just selling his wares over here. Also, I wouldn't call him cash grabby, but just I don't know. It's definitely cool art, though. That's for sure.
Well, he's already dealt with that situation where he was like, I don't know if I want to be in the NFT space. So he's.
But then, yeah, that leads to that, right? It's like, so then why the hell do I want to collect you?
Yeah.
I get if it's like a, digital wearable, I guess, and you want to wear some Murakami flair or whatever, or like what he did with, what is it? Those avatars that you were showing me right now. Sure. But for a collection, stuff like that, I don't know. It doesn't move the needle for me.
Yeah, same. I do remember him saying something about NFTs. I mean, it wasn't like he's taking a break from him, but it felt closer to that. But I remember at the end of that article, he finished by saying like he believes in that tech and he's all about it still. Like he's still very much, about this NFT thing. I'm gonna pull it up. It was actually a good read.
All right, Gifted is giving me comments here on my, I guess, flowers on my vocabulary. So appreciate that. Sequestered is now added. Nick Swerve is saying mint on wax. Absolutely not. If there's one chain that's going to pop off, I swear to God, I will literally cut my off on stream if wax is the one that comes out of this ahead of many other chains.
Never say never, brother.
Yeah, it's fair. All right, we'll have a good stream.
Those declarative statements coming.
I didn't sign anything.
Careful.
Shipwrecked Willies could potentially be the name of that new collection. Guys, I've got a couple other updates, and then we could probably head out of here in about 5 to 10 minutes. It looks like Pixelmon is continuously releasing these casual games. So this is going to be the next one, Pixel Pals. So we got kind of a casual game. Not much was kind of released there, but you can see launching in Q1 of 2024. This is going to be another one to add to the Pixelmon kind of ecosystem there. And then this piece, do you guys have any takes here on gonna get involved in Pixelmon universe?
No, sir.
All right. I did have one update here from the Ronin blockchain. This project actually might get me to bridge over some funds to the Ronin blockchain, which is everything you want to see, right? That's the goal as a protocol, is to build or try to acquire or partner with projects that will actually bring users onto the platform. And I think Zoids is going to be doing this for me on Ronin. Zoids is a IP that I have loved for a long time. When I was a kid, I used to collect these mechanical mech suits that were actually animals. So they're like mech animal suits. It looks like a trading card game here on the Ronin blockchain that they're working with. But you can see the IP there. And I'm just going to bridge over some funds and try to get involved in this ecosystem. It looks like they upped their users over 300% here in the past week, though. You can see 322% daily active user increase, some other metrics there. But I'm actually, again, this is not like a super deep dive. This is just going to be, I think, the project that finally gets me into Ronin. Hudah, I know you have some connections, obviously, with the CyberKongs and everything that they're doing. Potentially, you might have some info on what they're doing over there with Ronin as well. Any takes?
I mean, I have a similar feeling that you do. I'm very bullish on them, and I'm looking for, I guess, as much as exposure as I can get. I mean, to anything, to pixels, to this, to, I can't remember the name of the past thing that joined them, but man, yeah, they're doing everything right. I love it.
All right. Love that. Guys, drop any other comments you have here in the private chat and I can bring them up. Otherwise, that's going to be a wrap here on today's episode, the first after a pretty long break for us. So, last takes here before we head out, fellas.
Well, not so much a take as a question for Hudah, because I know he's also a big ordinals and enthusiastic about the Bitcoin space, because I just keep getting this feeling, Hudah, that the puck, after this big Solana wave of enthusiasm happens, is going to shift over to Bitcoin at some point next year. And it's going to be tremendous, man. Particularly, you all know I'm very bullish on Stacks. I don't think it's just Stacks that's going to kill it, but I do think it's the leader there right now. But how do you see that, Hudah, playing out? What do you think? Is it going to be just the transactions per second? Is it going to be some UI, UX that's going to come out? I don't know, some type of friend tech thing?
I like your call. I like that it's going to a layer 2 there, and Stacks makes perfect sense for that. So I see it playing out that way, but I also see people just fighting through those high fees like we've done on ETH for years now. High prices be damned, we're still going to collect, and it doesn't matter what it is if there's profits there. And I think with the kind of price action we're all expecting in Bitcoin, I think that it's going to be worth people's while. So I see what you're seeing. I don't think we've seen anywhere close to kind of the volume that we're gonna see over on Bitcoin. I'm very excited for it. I think a lot of that stuff is still actually pretty damn undervalued too, but I'm looking forward to, like you said, the UX, just the experience in that ecosystem getting a buff, and I think it's going to happen in this cycle.
It's a very interesting point we are at in this timeline, which is essentially all of kind of the older, more successful, even chains, collections. Like, where the hell is Bored Ape Yacht Club and all this right now that we've seen over the past month? Like, they've just been sleeping. But you can make the same case for ETH right now, in the sense that it feels like it's getting passed by smaller, more agile competitors. It's an interesting timeline.
It is, and all it takes is the right narrative to switch it back to ETH. And like to your point about Mickey, if you get the biggest Mickey project on here as an interoperable asset, that could be something that just triggers something. It could be that blast drop, but it also could be more news about your stash coming from Yuga Labs, right? If you guys are familiar, just last week they announced these new wrappers for their NFTs. That's starting with CryptoPunks, but that's going to give them all kinds of some type of interoperability or something that makes these NFTs work with each other, probably control the marketplaces they can be traded on. To me, that's really interesting, and that breathes some life into their ecosystem once again, potentially. So I'm still waiting for news on that.
I actually missed this update. Last week, Yuga finalized a series of interconnected contracts that unlock new possibilities across our projects. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, it seems like a big deal, even though there's not a lot you do with them yet. I mean, right now, CryptoPunks can just wrap their asset, and actually they paused it because they found a little something not right in the contract. But then you think ahead to when they wrap all their assets and they develop something, I don't even know what it is, but something that has them all connected to each other in some kind of interesting way. I don't know. They've got OX Quid on there, who's just a gigabrain, and they're whipping up all kinds of creative things.
That's a really good update. I want to jump into this here. after the show. It starts with New Raptor, CryptoPunk 721, C721. Let's get this out of the way early. CryptoPunk 721 will have 0 royalties. Okay. Interesting. All right, folks, that's going to be it for today's episode. The last piece that just hit my timeline actually a couple hours ago, though, looks like Killer Bears might be moving to Solana. Might as well end the episode with the Solana update. Wow. You can see Space Saga here, Q1 2024 with the Killer Bear right there. The Killer Bear floor hasn't moved too much here since the start of December, so wonder if that picks up. But appreciate you guys joining us today in a post-Christmas episode here of NFT Live. You guys have been awesome. Easy in crypto. Great to have you all back, DP. Welcome back, gentlemen. Sarah Script, happy Boxing Day. Justin Casey, loving the wax reference. Gifted making an appearance here. Anybody else here that we missed? I appreciate you guys showing up. XNFT, Marty McFly. NFT Cutie, you guys are the best all the way through. Hudah, what do we have here?
I'm just going to give you guys a sneak peek at the newsletter that's dropping later today because, again, something I talked about earlier. Right here is December 2021, and you see where we went from there. Here's December 2022, and you see where we went from there. Here we are, December 2023, and you can just speculate on where we're going from here. But just want to show you the place we're at the market right now. I think we're gearing up for something really, really special next year.
Love it. Ending the episode here with some bull cases. Appreciate y'all. We will be back tomorrow with another episode. We are back in the saddle officially. So you guys take care. Our vibe, our tribe.